Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2021 Connect Conference Day 3, brought to you by Huawei and Cloud and Data Stream partner CBRE. Enjoy the next session.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next session in the Connect Conference 2021. Today on the Data and Cloud stream, it's a great privilege to welcome another seasoned executive to come and share some knowledge and expertise with us. More so this morning, I found out that to the day, it is his 2-year anniversary at Huawei. So very welcome this morning to Michael Langeveld, who's joining us. By way of introduction, just to set the scene, I'm sure most of you know Michael, but he's had several leadership roles, including at IBM, Microsoft, and Dell Computers. And he's been responsible for delivering data centers, public cloud, security, and hybrid solution sales across small, medium, mid-market, public sector, and enterprise customers. He's played several strategic roles in public sector enablement for the development of strategic assets, including the government private cloud and SAP's modernization, to name a few. Since 2011, he was a director of solution sales at Microsoft, becoming the sales lead for the cloud and data center component, and eventually heading the public safety and national security team. In 2019, he joined IBM as hybrid cloud leader, and then he took up the role of Huawei Cloud Business Vice President. Quite a CV. Michael, yeah, very humbled to have you with us, and thank you very much for joining us. And of course, a very big thank you to Huawei for supporting our event. We're always really grateful and humbled by the tremendous support that we receive from Huawei. Over to you.
Good morning, Juanita, and thank you so much for your kind words. Indeed, today is my 2-year anniversary here at Huawei, and what a journey it's been. Thank you so much for allowing us to share our view, and we look forward to the presentation to you and the team. So without any further ado, allow me to put on the slides and start the conversation. Today, my team have asked me to share with you my thoughts and thinking around the 3 S's of public cloud as it relates to the journey that we have as Africans on the African continent. And so I'm really excited to have this conversation with you, Juanita and team. And I look forward to a robust engagement debate on the chat group. So please do go ahead and give us your view and your thoughts on what we are sharing here today. As Juanita indicated, I'm the Vice President here at Huawei. And what I wanted to start off this conversation with today was to just share with you how we as Huawei think about the cloud and IT ecosystem before I get directly into the topic of today, which is really about the 3 S's of public cloud. So from a Huawei perspective, I think that we are perfectly positioned to really enable new business opportunities as it relates to cloud. And when I say that, I think about the entire ecosystem that we've been blessed to really participate in. When you think about our value proposition, it stretches all the way from simple connectivity and getting connectivity to the end user, all the way to what we call public cloud and enabling smart services, not just for business, but also for government. And really, when we think about this bringing together of the 2 worlds between connectivity and cloud, we think really that we are perfectly positioned to help specifically the African continent capture this opportunity, really deliver value for the rest of the African continent. So when we think about cloud, there are a couple of key themes that we think about. And as you think through some of this, let me share with you 1 or 2. Obviously, the one that comes top of mind is this idea of data, big data, the value of data. And so that's a big theme for us here at Huawei as we help solve some of these challenges for our customers. The other area we think about is around the area of artificial intelligence and how, leveraging the power of cloud, are we able to open up new market opportunities as we think about cloud and what cloud means. But let me get directly into, in case you were thinking and saying, hey, we've never heard of this Huawei cloud. Michael, share with us some more information before we get into the bolts of what we're trying to say. So really, from a Huawei cloud perspective, we are probably the number 5 global cloud provider on the planet today. And again, when you look at the markets where we operate and we're most dominant in, we are the number 2 cloud provider when it comes to the Chinese market. And in this market, the South African or African market, we're the 3rd largest cloud provider. And in fact, we're the fastest growing cloud in the world today. And so we're really excited that our customers and our partners have put trust and faith in us as they have for many years. Now, we focus on a couple of key areas to generate revenue and value. And really the value we talk about is in new capability around cloud. This idea of cloud native is a massive, massive opportunity for us as we think about cloud and some of the challenges it brings. But just to talk about cloud native, we are the number 1 container or cloud native provider today in the Chinese market. Then the second area, remember earlier on, I spoke about artificial intelligence. This is an area really where we seek to democratize artificial intelligence because we think this is an area of opportunity for us to create those net new jobs that we're looking for with technology and to simplify technology. So if you haven't heard about model arts today or seen the capability and how we can democratize artificial intelligence, and even for a guy like me to use artificial intelligence without all of the heavy lifting, we really think this is an area of great opportunity for us for this market. But Juanita, let me focus and get directly to the meat of the conversation. So earlier on, I spoke about the 3 S's of public cloud, and the first S is what we call sovereignty. So let me speak a little bit about sovereignty in the context of the African continent, and then specifically South Africa, Juanita, because really this is one of the S's that we seek to ensure that we align with, not only from a South African, but also an African perspective. As you know, we are a massive global player, and we operate throughout the planet, and we have north of 23 data center regions across the planet. I'm super excited to share with you that we have an African and South African strategy to make sure that we align to what we call sovereignty. So what we've done, Juanita and team, is the following. From a South African perspective, we have stood up, and these 2 availability zones allow us to achieve what we call data sovereignty in the South African and African context. Really what that means is, by configuring our hyperscale platform in South Africa, we ensure that all of the data that is collected in South Africa stays in South Africa, because these 2 facilities are interconnected, making sure that all of the data generated in this country and on the African continent stays here. That's very important for us, because as we think through sovereignty, and me being a South African, we want to make sure that we drive the African and South African agenda as hard as possible. And so Huawei's investment in these 2 hyperscale data centers really allows us to do that. Now, along with that investment, we've also made 4 other additional hyperscale facilities available. And these are in the form of what we call points of presence. And this allows us to connect the rest of the African continent to this investment that we have in South Africa. And again, I'm happy that our partner Terico, who is also speaking at this event, spoke earlier on around our partnership. Here you can see not only with Terico, Internet Solutions, Vodacom and MTN, we are able to interconnect the rest of the African continent seamlessly into this local investment that we have here in South Africa, for South Africa and for the rest of the African continent. So really, really excited about this investment and the opportunities it holds for us as a nation and for us as a continent. Now, Juanita, let me double click and get into probably one of the tougher conversations that cloud providers like us need to have, and it's around the second S. And this second S really talks about security. And really, if we look at the events that's transpired over the last 2 to 3 months in the context of cybersecurity, you will understand that this is a critical conversation that we as an OEM or as a cloud provider absolutely has to have. And I'm super excited, Juanita, that our conversation around security is really, really being taken seriously inside of this organization. In fact, for the last 30 years, we've served more than 3 billion people across the world with stable operations, and specifically, if I look at our carrier network, servicing more than 170 countries. So we take security very, very, very seriously. And when you look at our track record from a cybersecurity perspective worldwide and the best practices we've implemented, our customers have really recognized what we're doing in the context of security. Now, for us, as I said, it's a continued commitment. And later on, I will share with you how the industry has recognized Huawei as a leader when it comes to security and compliance. Again, you know, security is a very, very broad topic. And so when we think about security here at Huawei, we think about 3 layers of security. One, we want to make sure that all of the 220 plus services that we provide in the Huawei cloud in South Africa and on this African continent is steeped in security. So we develop everything that we do from the ground up, taking security into mind. making sure that we are trustworthy across all 5 security domains, and that all of our engineering specifications, all 52 of them, are aligned to this trustworthiness. We make sure that we regularly and rigorously test every single one of our technologies, and I'll share later on with you in another slide how we think about that. Now, in this era of cloud and cloud computing, compliance is not only a necessity, it is a must. And so when I look at the 80+ compliance certifications we have, I'm super excited that certifications like PCI DSS, this is a certification critical in operating in the banking environment, that we comply and that we meet all of these certifications. Again, we take all of that learning, Juanita, and we make sure that we steep it into every technology that we have so that everyone can benefit from some of these certifications. Again, for the public sector, ISO 27001 is critically important, and we meet every one of those requirements as well. Now, that's very important for us. And again, we continue to do investment in security, and we will continue to do that. Now, let me take a step back and quickly talk to you about the 4 dimensions around how we think about security. And the 4 dimensions, we think about security from an application perspective, security from a data perspective, because we know that data is the new currency. Security when we think about workload, and workload is specific when it comes to infrastructure. And then the last one is, how do we think about security from a platform perspective? Later on, I'll speak about threat awareness and then our entire security ecosystem. So let me double click on the theme around application and how we think about security from an application perspective. Now, as we move into this cloud era, our customers, partners, and governments are expecting us to make sure that we make security and security adoption as seamless and as easy as possible. So today, I'm happy to report that, as an example, if you needed web application firewall to make sure that your websites are always on, to enable government services, or even commercial services, I'm happy to report that our web application firewall services have been running for the last 2 to 3 years in this country, allowing web application firewalls seamlessly. And again, in this era of denial of service attacks, I'm happy to report that our denial of service attack, this is an attack that is launched by illicit characters to bring down either government services or commercial services, that we've enabled this technology to mitigate that risk today. So if you have any questions around those areas, really happy to have that conversation with you. But that is just to give you an idea of what we're doing from an application landscape. Now, data, and you would know that specifically in this country, we have a new data and cloud policy or white paper that's out there. And so we really think about data very deeply. And so what we've been able to do here at Huawei is think about how do we protect data in all of the forms, whether it's sitting in a database, whether it's talking about how do we mask data to make sure that our customers and partners are compliant to things like POPI or GDPR, or even how we make sure that we manage all of your data keys to make sure that your data stays secure. And so we have a great value proposition in that area, and super excited to talk about that today. Second to last, I want to talk about workload security and platform security. Really, this is giving you the peace of mind that all the way from software to all of the hardware that sits in there, we have very bespoke security solutions to give you peace of mind that only you can access your data and nobody else is able to access your data in this new cloud world. Then I want to switch and talk around threat awareness. And again, this is something that we have to be cognitive of as we move into this new digital world. More and more attacks will come from everywhere across the planet. And so we are certainly investing heavily, making sure that all of your assets are protected on the Huawei cloud. Now, it would be remiss of me to not add and share with you how do we switch on a 24/7, 365 capability to make sure that whenever you use our services, there is always somebody helping you and watching you should you run into any risk. So what we do here at Huawei is we have a network that spans the globe, follows the sun to make sure that we always have somebody supporting you and protecting you, making sure that we have self-awareness, vulnerability feedback, public intelligence, and intelligence sharing information to make sure that you are always protected when you use the Huawei cloud. Our global security operations centers span across the planet, all the way from Latin America, China, and Europe. And really what we seek to do here is make sure that all attacks are intercepted, we block them, and we notify users to make sure that your data assets are protected when you use the Huawei cloud. Now, all of this comes with a coordinated plan, and so we think about it from the foreign perspective. We think about security from a planning perspective, how we think about security requirements. We think about it as a definition or security design, how we think about threats, model threats, and then how do we go after developing new ways of protecting our users, our governments from a security attack perspective. Then we take all of this capability, we put it into a release and deployment mechanism to make sure that you have the latest security releases, making sure that you're always protected, and we embed this in our operations and management framework. Really, this framework, colleagues, if you haven't seen it before, is really something that you should be thinking about as you start your cloud journey. Now, we think about security in many dimensions and many aspects. We have north of 1,000 security metrics across 16 domains. And here are the domains that we think about when we think about security. And these span all the way from business continuity, threat management, operational security, physical security when it comes to the data centers in South Africa or any of our points of presence on the rest of the African continent. And more specifically, we think about cloud security and infrastructure security. Folks, these 16 domains are critical to your success in public cloud. And again, if this is an area of interest for you, engage with us and we can share with you how we've helped not only governments, but also commercial customers think through some of these challenges or opportunities as they think about their public cloud journey. Now, remember earlier on, I said I'd come back and share with you how the industry has recognized what we've done from a cloud perspective in South Africa and on the African continent. Colleagues, here are some of the certifications that we have met to make sure that we are trustworthy and that we make sure that you are protected when leveraging cloud services. Again, if POPI is important to you, please visit huaweicloud.com/compliance, where we share a white paper on POPI around what we are doing to make sure that your data is protected and it stays within the borders of this country. Lastly, colleagues, I want to wrap up and quickly talk about support. I'm mindful of time, but I wanted to talk to support about in 4 areas. And again, support is not just about an engineer showing up on a motorbike when you have a challenge. For us, support takes 4 dimensions. The first one, from a support perspective, as our customers think about this public cloud journey, for many of them, it is a daunting task. And so this daunting task is met by astute, really knowledgeable people here at Huawei, providing what we call cloud migration services that not only helps you with cloud tooling, methodology, or expertise, but also a large array of private cloud, hybrid cloud, and public cloud knowledge to help you on your journey. And this journey from a migration perspective follows a defined methodology that starts all the way from assessing and planning your current environment, coming up with a migration plan, and optimizing your environment before moving into the public cloud. And then once it moves to the public cloud, how do we have service continuity and continued cost reduction on the other end? So that's one of the areas that we certainly think about from a cloud perspective. Next, I'm going to cover event management, support plans, as well as expert services. So from an event management perspective, we think about it from 3 dimensions: a pre-event preventative maintenance model. And this is a model that we think about what your current architecture landscape looks like, how we evaluate that landscape, how do we make sure that we put monitoring tools in place to make sure that you can mitigate any risks. How do we think about capacity planning, capacity evaluation, resource diagnosis, making sure you continuously look at your resources before an event may happen, and continuous security assessments, because we know the threat is a moving threat. And so we work very closely with you. And then in the case of a disaster, what are the contingency plans that we can put in place with you on this last pillar from a 3 S's perspective, from a support perspective? Now, in the event of an emergency or an event of assurance, what support can we give you? All the way from 24/7 monitoring support, remote assistance, or even incident handling with dedicated technical account managers to support you. And then after the incident, we take it very seriously that we do a post-mortem or post-event summary where we look at how we can improve your security posture. I hope this event management framework helps you as you think through some of these capabilities in your organization as you take your journey to public cloud. Lastly, we are known for the great support that we provide and the support services. So we've extended our public cloud support services to other areas. And again, we leverage our global services headquarters with the 170 regions that we have to continuously support you. But also we make sure that our partner network supports as well. And so we have north of 1,000 service providers with 10,000 service engineers, because we know that partnerships are the things that help us create new value streams and ecosystems. Again, some of the expert services that we have focus across many areas our customers have asked us. And when I look at our partner, SAP, and the specific services we provide to make sure that critical business systems are always available, I'm happy and excited that the partnerships that we've formed in this country and on the African continent. Again, there are many customers and partners that I'd like to thank that has taken this journey with us. And here is but a small reminder of all of those customers who have continued their journey with us to transform their businesses as we think about the 3 S's. Again, none of this would have been possible without the partnership of local partners, local businesses creating value streams around this. And so I wanted to call out and thank every single one of those businesses for supporting us, but more importantly, for supporting our customers in their cloud transformation journey as we talk about the 3 S's of public cloud. Juanita, with that, I'm going to hand back to you in case there are any questions, comments, or anything that you'd like to discuss. I thank you.
Thank you, Michael. This is certainly very, very impressive. Yeah, I think Huawei in general can be very proud of the work that they've done in the context of South Africa. So I've got 2 quick questions for you, just for the sake of time, that is from me. So there's a lot of conversation around the democratization of data and the democratization of AI, etc. But I think, like with a lot of new terminology, which is always happening in our sector, there's always new words. What is your understanding of the terminology and the way in which Huawei specifically views the democratization of data and cloud and AI, for that matter?
Yeah, and that's a very good question, Juanita, around democratization of artificial intelligence. So really, for us here at Huawei, when we think about democratization of artificial intelligence, model arts or that capability is the first thing that comes to mind. What that means, Juanita, is that we've developed a platform that allows any person, again, any single person today without significant IT skills to start consuming artificial intelligence. And let me give you one example of that. We've developed and we worked with one of our customers, Hexa, who's in the business of creating really, really great chili powder. And they came to us and said, how can we use artificial intelligence to improve the output of our chili powder? And quite simply, what we've done for them is we went to their factory, we took 10,000 pictures of good and bad chilies. We took these pictures and we put it onto the Model Arts platform, right? Think about it, uploading 10,000 pictures. And all we did was we looked at every picture and we said, this is a good chili and this is a bad chili. And that itself started what we call the model training. So we trained a model and we put all 10,000 chilies into that model. The output of that was an artificial intelligence algorithm. So once they've built this algorithm in the cloud, they took this algorithm, put it onto the application on premise, because they wanted the application close to the sorting machine that sorts the chilies. And today, they have improved their output by over 90% using this artificial intelligence with zero coding on their side. All they had to do was take a picture, put it onto this artificial intelligence Model Arts platform, and it did the work for them. Now think about the opportunities it means for local partners or customers that are wanting to solve similar challenges. And that's what I mean by democratizing artificial intelligence.
Thank you so much for your time today, Michael. It's been a real privilege to have you here with us today and for you to share your knowledge and expertise with this audience. Very important conversation that we had today. Michael Langeveld, the Vice President of Huawei Cloud Business. And in concluding, we just want to thank Huawei for their sponsorship and for supporting this event. It has really helped us to put on a phenomenal program. Thank you so much, and we look forward to hosting you in the next session.
Ladies and gentlemen, we trust you enjoyed the session. Thank you to all our sponsors and partners for helping us bring this event to you.